Recently, we've had our first full reveal of Project Luminous, which we now know as the High Republic. However, before this teaser, all we had was this one picture from a little bit before The Rise of Skywalker's release. It says, "The Force is what gives a Jedi their power. It's an energy field created by all living things until Project Luminous." After seeing this, we didn't get any other context. My mind immediately went to this poster for Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, which is, after that, and the end, not an anti. Which is not just vague, but also part of that actually has to do with mistranslation. But either way, it sounds cool in a similar way as Project Luminous's reveal. My first thought went to that poster. Instead of making immediate Evangelion and Star Wars crossover in my mind, I skipped a beat and just sort of thought of Star Wars and Revolutionary Girl Utena. And this, while completely unchecked hype, I will fully admit that this was probably not a fair thing to think, but my mind immediately went to thoughts of a super experimental, heavily thematic, and even a bit of social commentary Star Wars of the future. And this got me way too excited to the point where, when the actual reveal came, I was honestly a tad bit disappointed because it kind of reminded me of Legends a bit when I first watched the trailer, and also it went backwards in time instead of forward because it sounded like something universe-shattering was gonna happen with the Force. It still might, but it won't affect the main movies or anything. Or at least probably not, unless they do more than just comics and books as it seems right now. However, after that first trailer, while I was a tad bit disappointed, I decided to rewatch the trailer, and my second time watching it with my expectations actually checked, I am actually a tad bit more excited for it now. At first, the Nihil kinda reminded me of the Yuuzhan Vong. However, I'm not a fan of the Yuuzhan Vong. Both character-wise, their general role in the story, design-wise, all of it, I just do not like the Yuuzhan Vong. When I first saw the Nihil, I didn't think about it that much. I'm like, it's these guys. But again, I don't like this. However, that was completely unfair because when I watched the trailer a second time, first of all, the designs are honestly kinda great. They remind me of something out of an 80s anime OVA, which, I could totally see a series with these guys in something Mamoru Oshii worked on. I think their general ideals are a bit more interesting for Star Wars than the usual Sith type of deal, or a lot of what we've seen before. Not thematically deep or anything, but still a lot of interesting story ideas, which, by the way, Claudia Gray and Charles Soule, two of the best writers to ever touch Star Wars, are gonna seem to be a pretty big part of this, so I do expect some at least interesting stories, even if the overall whole doesn't capture me, which I'm not sure at this point. I think it can be something great, but it's not something I'm completely sure of yet. It's really something I need to get my hands on before I can really judge it properly now. So far, my biggest concern with it is the seeming glorification of the Jedi, because to be blunt, not a good organization. And I really hate that everyone's, despite what we actually see, trying to make the Jedi cool when, no, they are, in fact, not. However, like I said, this is something I'll have to actually get my hands on before fully judging, because a lot of people actually think this might be the story of how they became so terrible, which will be way more interesting than if they're just actual cool guys, which, currently it seems like it's only books and comics. I kinda like that because they can do their own thing without being beholden to any movies or any previously existing things like Knights of the Old Republic, which, don't get me wrong, I like KOTOR, but I am just glad they're not touching that for this. Instead of they're actually doing something original. They can actually make big impacts in a book instead of having to wait for some sort of movie or TV show to come out. However, speaking of TV shows, Molly from the channel Star Wars Explained, I believe, has talked quite a bit about how she would love to see a Clone Wars, or, well, the CG Clone Wars or Rebels style TV show based on the High Republic stuff. My first thought was similar, but also very different. I want to see a cartoon, but what I want to see is specifically, there's these series of reanimated shorts based on the movies called Galaxy of Adventures. They look great. The issue is, they're based on scenes from the movies. Honestly, I actually like some of these shorts more than how they happened in the actual movie, but I'd love to see an original TV show with actual original storytelling in the style of these shorts. Just get the same animation team on. It's gonna be pretty interesting. I can't speak at all what I would want the actual story to be, but it looks good. I want it. I want more of this. Just get that team, give them jobs, make some good tunes. Just need the stuff. A lot of the stuff that I thought was kind of like Legends after giving it another shot doesn't very seem much like Legends beyond a surface level. Sure, it's a prequel like KOTOR and stuff, but the setting of KOTOR seems very different than this. The history and culture of the High Republic seems before KOTOR would take place, because Old Republic is like 4,000 years ago, while High Republic is only like 300 years ago, but High Republic seems way less advanced. Both those aspects and not having many Sith run around or any of that, it just makes the world of the High Republic a lot different than KOTOR. Like I said, beyond the surface level, the Yuuzhan Vong and the Nile don't have that much in common besides being Outer Rim invaders. I don't know. That's my biggest takeaway. I can't tell the future. I just haven't seen enough, and I don't think I'll be able to really comment anything beyond that until I get my hand on the first book, which I am going to check out, even if it is just despite some really stupid internet outrage. I may or may not be talking about the people who complained about dinosaurs being suggested when the Zillo Star Wars were some of the best episodes of the Clone Wars.